Dave from New Jersey. It's the SNL Nerds, the show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
And I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
Darren!
What was that?
I don't know. I just felt like mixing it up a little bit. Did that not work?
I mean, it worked if you wanted to give me a heart attack. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that is my goal with this podcast. I'm playing the long game.
I see.
I lull you into a false sense of security for 3 years, and then episode 174, I spring it on you.
So he has a weak heart. Now it's the time to strike.
That's right. That was my big finish. That's, like I said, I'm playing the long game. So, how you doing, buddy?
I'm all right, man. Doing okay. Middle of February. Super Bowl weekend, Valentine's Day, Black History Month. My Lord, this month has it all.
Yes, it's got a lot packed into just 28 days or 29 days. It's not a leap year, is it?
I don't know.
It's 28 days. It's not a leap year. It's just a regular 28-day February. So
it's a regular ass day.
Regular ass day. And like you said, it's Super Bowl weekend for us. We're recording this on Saturday, so we can both watch the big game tomorrow, the superb Owl game. But folks won't be hearing this until after the Super Bowl. So, hello, folks in the future.
Hello out there.
Who won? Who should we bet on? Write us and let us know.
Yeah, I'm hoping the me from the future comes back, later tonight with an almanac of all the winners, so I can bet on who will win the Super Bowl tomorrow.
Right, and then you can marry Leia Thompson and force her to get a boob job. Apparently,
that's the dream.
Yeah, yep, and then start a casino.
Oh, it's going to be beautiful.
And make your hometown into a dystopia.
Hey man, isn't that every boy's dream?
It is every boy's dream. I mean, that was, Leia Thompson was certainly my dream in 1985, I would say. So, yeah. So, since it is Super Bowl Sunday coming up, or just passed, as you're hearing this, we decided to do a football-themed SNL movie. We did Adam Sandler's movie remake of The Longest Yard, which is a remake of the 1974 Burt Reynolds movie.
Also called The Longest Yard.
Yes, which neither one of us have seen. So,
so we're doing this, The Longest Yard. Like you said, it has Adam Sandler, Chris Rock, James Cromwell, Nelly, Burt Reynolds himself coming back, Tracy Morgan. We see Rob Schneider in there for a bit.
Yep.
Directed by Peter Siegel, who Sandler has worked with before. Peter Siegel directed Tommy Boy. He directed Anger Management with Adam Sandler, 50 First Dates with Adam Sandler. So he's worked with him before in the past.
Yeah, we were saying before we started recording, it's like if you're in Adam Sandler's crew, you're in for life. It's like, because Sandler, he's very good at just about like giving parts in his movies to his friends and stuff like that. So
right. So, like, people, if you can find a Sandler in your midst, or just go to Sandler himself and just buddy up with that person. Be friends with him. And, just buy him a cup of coffee just because. And he'll remember that. You'll be his friend. And then you will eat for life.
Yeah. I mean, Sandler is apparently one of the nicest guys in Hollywood. I mean, I think everybody who knows him or works with him just talks about what a prince the guy is. So, yeah,
that's true. I mean, like, say what you will about his films. Some are a little bit better than others. We'll say that. But you can't deny that the dude does have a strong work ethic, and he genuinely cares about his friends and looking out for his people. Like, you can't deny that.
This is true. We haven't seen the original of this movie, so we're coming to this with almost no context whatsoever. I thought about watching the original, but then I thought better of it, and they're just like, no, I'm not going to do that. It might be interesting to see the remake first,
Yeah, like, I mean, I didn't know if the original had, like, such a fervent fan base that so many people would want the reboot or the remake to, stay close to the original material or what, but, I don't know,
I
from what I've
think
s
I think it was like it was I think it did well in its time, and I think it was probably fondly thought of, but it was done in 1974, so I think its time had was like far enough in the past that I think it was pretty safe to remake it by that point.
Right. And remake it they did. This movie came out May 27th, 2005, Memorial Day weekend. Had
Mm,
a budget of 90 mil, box office 191.5 mil. So this made some money.
did okay. Well, I mean, that's smart to keep the cost down enough, and so it didn't cost too much to make.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine all their money went into all the song breaks that they had throughout this entire movie.
A lot of
Like
song breaks in this movie. Yes, yes. And
like
before well, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just gonna quip that, yeah, like, it was basically, like, the first 10 minutes of Suicide Squad, but
Mm,
throughout an entire movie. Like, literally just a s I mean, but it makes sense because, this is, like, an MTV Films production, so,
yeah,
you
that's
know
true. That's true. So,
but I mean, my god, just so many songs.
like early in the movie, they started playing just kind of the guitar riff from "Are You Gonna Go My Way."
Mhm.
Uh, oh, not no, not that's the Lenny Kravitz song. What's the Strokes song that they started playing?
Oh, what Last Night?
No, not last night.
Shoot, I'll look it up, but, yeah, I know there's so many songs in this thing,
Yeah. Well,
I'm not
okay.
even
Anyway,
sure.
I'm going to read the description on the back of the DVD. By the way, the front of the DVD, I'm very amused by. At the front of the DVD, right below the title "Longest Yard," it says Nelly and Burt Reynolds, and I am certain that that is the only time in the English language that that particular string of words has ever been put together. Nelly and Burt Reynolds. That just. um, so the description on the back of the DVD: Are you ready for a different kind of football? Comic superstar Adam Sandler teams up with the always outrageous Chris Rock, rap sensation Nelly, and a gang of real pro football players and wrestling superstars in the hardest hitting action packed comedy of the year. After former NFL quarterback Paul Wrecking Crew, Sandler, gets thrown into a maximum security prison, the warden orders him to put together a team of hardcore inmates to play a fixed warm-up game against the brutal prison guards. But little does he know that the Mean Machine, led by Tough as Nails coach Burt Reynolds, have plans to settle their own score in this rib-busting, unforgettable, laugh-out-loud riot directed by Peter Sagal, anger management. So yeah, doing the hard sell on the back of the DVD there.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wait,
Uh,
so on the DVD, they say that Adam Sandler's character, his nickname is Wrecking Crew?
that's what they call him. Yes. In the movie, towards the end of the movie, they call him Motley Crew. I think because he's got like a motley crew of inmates on his prison football team.
Yeah, I mean, also the reason I asked that is just because, like, I looked at the, Wikipedia page for the original, the one with Burt Reynolds from '74, and
Mhm.
his nickname is Paul Wrecking Crew, so I don't know if maybe that was a mistake or maybe I don't know, somebody it feels like somebody goofed up. I hope somebody was fired for that blunder.
I don't know. I don't know. Do you buy Adam Sandler as a football player? First of all, because
Um
I do not. He's like Adam Sandler. He's just not built like a football player. He doesn't have the build for it.
Yeah, I mean, he's athletic enough, I guess, looking. Like, I know he always plays that, basketball game, like, it's known that
Uh-huh.
he has, like, a pickup basketball game with all his celebrity friends, like, pretty much every Saturday or every other Saturday, so he is a bit of an athlete, but, yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know if I buy him as,
I
a
don't buy
football
him as
player.
an NFL quarterback. I could buy him as like a pro baseball player,
Right.
and like early in the movie there are a few references to like, oh, you did that underwear ad, and I'm like, wait, are we pretending that Adam Sandler's like this big slice of beefcake? Because
Yeah,
I am not ready to go there with this movie.
yeah, that's another thing, like, in the beg like you mentioned, like, in the beginning of this movie where, All right, so it starts off at this big party in a big mansion, and we see Courtney Cox, who is Adam Sandler's girlfriend, and they're having a big
Right.
party. And Courtney Cox is, being approached by one of the guests, a male guest, and he says, "Oh, where's your boyfriend, Paul? He's so hot." Like, it's a there's a running theme that Adam Sandler is like this hunky, bad boy beefcake that
Yeah.
goes throughout the movie with that scene, and in the future with Cloris Leachman. And I'm like, are we are we pretending Adam Sandler is like, The
I've
Rock or something?
I've seen this in a couple Adam Sandler movies, like in the Wedding Singer. Like a few times, they're like, "Oh my God, Robbie's so cute," and I'm like, "Really? Adam Sandler's like average looking." Uh,
Yeah,
I mean, it's just he's not a bad looking person, but let's not pretend he's like this big beefcake guy because he's just not. It's
right.
it's weird.
No,
And they, at one point they show a brief shot of his supposed underwear ad that was like this really hot thing, and it's like it's a skinny guy in underwear. It's
yeah, and they're like fawning over, like the women are fawning over, like, ooh.
yeah, it's not Mark Wahlberg here. It's not even like he's not 1974 Burt Reynolds. 1974 Burt Reynolds, I can get it. You know
Yeah,
that dude did the Cosmos Centerfold, but Adam
all
Sandler.
man, all man, all hair.
Yeah, does Adam Sandler inspire a lot of lust? I don't think so.
I mean, maybe it's one of those things where it's like, oh, Adam Sandler's the head of this film. He's the lead.
Yeah, I
So
think it's more that.
yeah, it's
Because I was just like, I don't get this. And yeah,
I don't know.
the very beginning of this movie also has some very clunky exposition. It's like, where's that hunky football player? And it's like, oh,
Yeah, it's a lot of dialogues for the sake of telling the audience this is what's happening.
yeah,
He is my boyfriend. He was an ex football player. He is no longer a football player because the NFL just kicked him out because he was shaving points. And
yeah,
there's a lot of exposition in the beginning where it's
yeah.
not even like it's not even pretending to be dialogue. It's just straight up exposition.
Right. And Courtney Cox as Sandler's girlfriend, she's upset with him because he's not coming out and mingling at the party. He's just holed up in a bedroom watching a football game, drinking beers, and he gets fed up. He locks Courtney Cox in a closet, and he's like, "I'm gonna go drunk driving in a Bentley. This will work out well for me." And it does not. Spoiler alert:
Yeah,
it does not.
it's just
He does not do well at the drunk driving.
yeah. Apparently, you can't do that. Thought this
Yeah.
was America, but here we are.
And he actually like backs his Bentley into the cop car that pulled him over. Um,
Right, and then like, cause basically when he steals her car, she then calls the cops saying that,
yeah,
"Yeah, my boyfriend is drunk driving my car. I'd like to report it stolen or something." And
yes, yes,
so at
and
first they
it's like picked up on the news because like LA goes nuts over the car chases.
Yeah, and then, like, so at first they pull him over saying, "Hey, you had a few beers there," and then, like, they do more exposition saying, "Hey, you know who this guy is? This is Paul Crewe. He was one of the best football players and blah, blah, blah," until he got he got kicked out of the league for
Right.
shaving points and, like,
Yeah.
and blah, blah, blah. And, of course, like, Paul Crewe, he makes fun of the cops because you can do that when you're, well, rich enough. And
Yep.
then, it's like you said, he backs up, and like one of the cops has big ears. He makes fun of his big ears, calling him Frodo. He then
Yeah.
like backs up his car into a cop car, drives off. Immediately, there's like 5 or 6 cop cars chasing him,
Yeah.
swerving through the streets of LA, helicopter in the air.
Hmm.
Just it's like, wow, this escalated quickly.
Yeah. It's like more cops after him than OJ got.
Yeah,
It's nuts. And by the way, when he backs the Bentley up into the cop car, it didn't look like the Bentley suffered any damage whatsoever. The front of the cop car is crushed, but I was like, is this car made out of adamantium? I don't know.
just
It was
vibranium, brother.
it was nuts. So yeah, so he's and Sandler's like on probation already because of like the whole point fixing thing. So this is a clear violation. So he's arrested, sent to prison, and he's ultimately sent to this maximum security Texas prison, uh,
Yeah,
where the warden is James Cromwell, the great James Cromwell from Babe, Pig in the City, and
of course.
and other things. I know he did the Star Trek First Contact, L.A. Confidential. He's James Cromwell. He's great.
America's darling.
And he's the evil warden, and we find out that the warden is like called in favors to get Paul Crewe sent here because the thing they do at this prison is they have the guards play football in, like, I think a league with other prison guards. Is that it?
Yeah, there's like basically like a league in the prison guard system of
Right.
like you said, like the guards play other guards, and boost morale, and bunch of good old boys thrown on a pigskin. But for the past 5 years, the team has been kind of sucking. They've been not great.
Yeah,
So the
they've not
war,
made it to the championships, and the
yes,
warden, he wants to run for governor of Texas because he's like, they say the way I run this prison should be the way they run this state. Um,
I I
which
guess the two are the same in
Does that
Texas.
make sense? I don't know. Well, it's Texas, so who knows?
Yeah. Damn. Shout out to all our Texas listeners.
but but he's like, well, you've played pro ball, so you can come in and give some pointers and coach the guys and have a thing. And yeah, uh, so
Yeah, I mean, and at the first at first upon hearing this, Cruz says he doesn't want to do it; he just wants to do his time and get out. But we
right,
also see before he met up with the warden, one of the prison captains, Captain Nauer, played by the great character actor William Fincher,
yeah,
immediately starts beating him up and saying, "Look, whatever the warden tells you, tell him no, because he
yeah,
thinks he runs this shit. I run this shit," type of
yeah.
thing.
Yeah. He's like Sandler's getting beat up like before he even leaves the bus taking him to the prison. He's getting hit and beat up by the car. So
Yeah.
yeah, so not a great place, and he's also hated by all the inmates because of the point shaving thing. He meets up basically the first guy he meets in the first inmate he meets in the prison is Chris Rock, who's plays a character called Caretaker, who like Morgan Freeman in The Shawshank Redemption, he's a man who knows how to get things on the inside.
Yes, and good things he does. Like we see him getting, well later on we'll see him get some cleats for somebody through a birthday cake, uh, Kettle One vodka he can get for you and hide in your toilet.
Yep,
Uh,
yep.
he's a man by a lot of means. I really like Chris Rock's performance in this. I thought he did have some good like one liners here and there. I really dug.
He was pretty good in the movie. I didn't have as much affection for his character as I was supposed to, and I'll get into that later. But I mean, it's
Mm,
always nice to see Chris Rock. I do like Chris Rock. I like seeing him pop up and stuff, and he's always funny. I mean, he's always a Chris Rockish character. But his character Caretaker says, he can get everything except for McDonald's. The person who can get McDonald's on the inside is Terry Crews's character, and we see Terry Crews just like handing out burgers like they're cigarettes in prison.
yeah,
I don't know. I
yeah, yeah.
In
He's
the time
basic.
it takes to get a McDonald's hamburger into prison, would you want to eat it anymore?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta hide it somewhere on your person, right? You gotta like, it's gotta be like down your. You gotta shove it
We
down your
we
pants or.
see him. We see Terry Crews pull a McDonald's burger out of his pants at one point in the movie, and then he hands it to somebody. And I was like, nothing against Terry Crews. I'm sure he's a fine gentleman, but I would not want to eat a McDonald's hamburger that's been sitting in Terry Crews's pants for God knows how long.
But John, that it's wrapped around that yellow paper. That's the protective shell, so the burger's fine.
Not
So
even
just
not even if it was like a McDLT in the old style styrofoam container.
ooh,
Um,
is that
no,
the one where it was like hot on one side and cold on the other?
hot side hot, cool side cool. That's right. Yeah,
Mm.
all my '80s homies know what I'm talking about.
Holla.
Yeah,
But what? But
I'm
John,
raising the roof right now.
yeah, yeah. But John, let me ask you this: what if he can get you a McRib sandwich in the joint, but he
Oh,
had to shove it down his pants? What about that?
I'll be honest. I'm going to keep it 100 here. I tried a McRib a few years ago just out of curiosity when they brought the McRib back. That thing is awful. That is foul. That is. I do not understand the appeal of the McRib at
Yeah,
all.
I
Uh,
think people kind of like it, or just because it's like a limited thing.
I
It only
think so.
comes
I
out.
think people have like an entire year to forget how heinous it is. It was the same way when they brought back the Shamrock Shake. I was like, "Oh, that sounds cool, a mint milkshake. I'm going to try that." That was awful. I do like some things on the McDonald's menu. I do. I enjoy their breakfast menu. I'll get
Mm,
like the egg sausage biscuit. The hash browns are good. I enjoy the fries. I haven't had one of their burgers in ages, but
yeah.
I remember those being okay for what they were. But the McRib, no.
Yeah, and I mean, as far as McDonald's goes, I grew up with McDonald's. All kids love McDonald's.
Yeah,
But as a grown ass adult, I got to admit, Wendy's is better. It just
yeah.
is.
Wendy's is like my go-to fast food burger place. I'll do the occasional Burger King as well. That's not bad. But yeah, the Wendy's
Right.
is where it's at for me.
Yeah, Burger King's all right. White Castle if I'm hungover and want diarrhea, I'll go for that. But for
Yeah,
but
sure. Okay.
you never if you're in if the mood strikes.
Yeah,
But yeah, like Wendy's is number one, A1.
yeah, yeah. That's. I mean, none of that stuff is stuff that's great for you to be eating on a regular basis. I mean,
Oh no, no.
as far as fast food goes, I'm much more of like a Boston Market person these days.
Ooh,
Who to bring it full circle, they're owned by McDonald's. So
what?
yeah,
When did this happen?
years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So
This is how we learn. We
uh,
see listeners, we make you laugh and think.
we're entertaining and educational. That was our little McDonald's tangent. So hope you enjoyed that, folks.
Uh, Next episode we'll talk about McNuggets.
I can go for the occasional McNugget. McNuggets aren't bad.
What's your dipping sauce of choice?
Gotta go with honey mustard. I've
Ooh.
never been a big barbecue guy. Yeah, honey mustard's where it's at. What about you?
I would go that maybe I used to be big into sweet and sour, but I
Yeah,
think now as I get older in my wiser years, I think honey mustard is the way to go. I think you're right there.
yeah. I mean, there are some people they mix the sauces together and they
Oh
do
my
a
god.
whole thing. Like
It's
that's
madness.
that's McDonald's whole campaign now is they do the whole do the menu hack thing and they're encouraged. So apparently that burger chicken fish thing that's not an official thing on their menu, but you can order those things and then you're supposed to put them together into one big massive heart attack burger.
So you're just basically just ordering three separate burgers and just smashing them together into one unholy mess and shoving it down your
Apparently
gullet.
so. Apparently so. Yes, because that
They'll
heart
allow you to do that? Okay.
fast enough.
Okay. Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see the appeal. That sounds horrible, but
Just shoot yourself in the heart if you're gonna do something like that.
exactly.
Good gravy.
Anyway, the McDonald's thing, by the way, extremely minor thing in the movie. It doesn't really play into the plot at all. It's just a weird character bit.
Yeah, it's a weird thing that they keep bringing up. That it's like he's basically like the wimpy of prison, where it's just like I got burgers, hamburgers. It's just all
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So Paul Crew, he's basically backed into coaching the team. Through BS circumstances, and so
Oof.
he tells the warden, okay, yeah, I'll do it. I'll look at your guys and coach him and do what I got to do. Um,
Right. Well, no, he actually. I think the warden wants him to sort of look at the team and give him some pointers, and
right,
then Paul immediately says, "Oh, well, you guys need like a tune-up game, like a warm-up game."
get ready for the season. Yeah, to
Right. And then
so,
yes, so then the warden says, "All right, that sounds good. Why don't you get a bunch of the inmates, practice, get a team together, and it'll be the prisoners against the guards, and that'll be like a
right.
warm up game for the bigger games when we play the real games."
And if you can have some wacky shenanigans somewhere along the way, so much the better. Is like, how long do you need to have some wacky shenanigans? Like 4 weeks? Is that enough time for you to like put together a team and train them and then play them against the guards? I think so. Let's have some wacky shenanigans, Adam Sandler. Can you do that for me?
Right, wacky shenanigans abound.
Yeah. And so he puts together a team. There's a whole lot of like putting the team together in this movie. This movie spends so much time putting together the team.
Yeah, there's a lot of we got to get the band together.
Yeah. I mean, you'd think this would be like 15 minutes of the movie, but no, it's like 30, 40 minutes, it feels like, of just
Yeah,
putting the team together.
yeah. There's a lot, and we are introduced to a lot of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
I believe
Nicholas Arturo is in this movie.
yes, he plays Brucey, who's kind of like the I don't know what would you call his character? Maybe mentally
He's not all there.
hmm.
Yeah, he's a little off. I mean, I still have a fondness of Nicholas Arturo from the early seasons of NYPD Blue.
Oh
And
yeah, that's right.
his brothers, of course, have done a lot of Adam Sandler movies.
Oh Johnny, yeah, Johnny T.
Yeah, yeah, John Turturro. So yeah, Sandler's in good with the Turturro clan, apparently.
Yeah, I know. There's also like a running gag throughout the movie that Brucey, played by Nick Turturro, has hooked up with Tracy Morgan's character, who is uh, goes by the name Miss Tucker, and they're basically how can I say this? Um,
Well, he's in with the group of the prison transvestites. I think that's how they credit them in the movie. Yeah.
okay,
So
okay,
we've got Tracy Morgan doing Camp Gay stuff, which
yeah,
it's a little weird watching that.
a little bit,
I'm like looking at this movie was made in 2005. I feel like we should be further along in this than 2005 because it's like it's a lot of gay jokes and it's gay jokes along the lines of just like they're all just kind of like haha he's gay isn't it funny
yeah.
and that's it. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I know it is an Adam Sandler film, and I know it takes place in prison. And prison, of course, when anything takes place in prison, you're gonna get the gay jokes. Don't drop the soap. Blah blah blah. But
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's going to be regressive. I mean, because
yeah,
prison and an Adam Sandler movie. Yeah, well, it's not going to be the most woke thing, but I still, I felt a little funny watching that stuff.
yeah. I was like, oh, all right.
I was like, ooh, if I'd known this was going to be in the movie, I might have had second thoughts about doing this movie.
Oh,
So yeah, I was like,
yeah.
yeah, stuck in the collar. It's like, oh, well, this is awkward. Uh,
Yeah. Then we meet some of the other inmates. Comedian Joey Coco Diaz is in this as Big Tony.
mm-hmm.
Uh, we have, like I said, Terry Crews as Cheeseburger Eddie. Um, we have our first one of our first wrestlers is a guy called who's played by Bill Goldberg, who's a wrestler in the WWE.
Mm,
Yeah, this movie had a lot of wrestlers in it. As if you look at the
yeah.
guards, there's one guard. One of them was played by Stone Cold Steve Austin himself,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
one
that's one of the few wrestlers I actually know.
right. He's the one that dropped that hard R in the movie. But we'll get there. We'll get to that scene.
Oh, yeah, okay. Promise? Um,
And we also see
oh,
Kevin.
promise? Are we gonna get some slurs? Yay!
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll don't you worry.
Oh, can we get to the slurs now? I was promised some racial slurs.
I want the slurs now. I want them now. But we also
This
see
movie's just not racist enough for me yet.
Dad. And yeah, we also have Kevin Nash, who went under the wrestling name Diesel and wrestled for the WWE for years. He's
Mm,
one of the guards as well. He's the one that later on in the movie we see that he's been taking steroids, and then of course they switch out his steroids with estrogen pills, and of course he cries a lot because that's what women do.
yeah, he's like really emotional, and yeah, it's yeah. I mean, like a few times I was like, this was made in 2005, right? This isn't like 1985 because it feels a lot of the jokes feel like something you would have gotten in like Revenge of the Nerds or something like that, you know?
Yeah, very much so. And then we also meet another football guy, not football guy, but another inmate, Bob Sapp, who plays Switowski. Switowski, who's like kind of like a gentle giant. He's like this big, strong black dude, and but like when he
Yeah.
talks, he's kind of talks like a child.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's like he's got like a developmental thing going on. He doesn't seem to be all there either.
Right.
Yeah, you find not entirely mentally healthy people in prison as well. Yeah.
Oh boy. This is yeah. But yeah, so like the team gets together, they're trying, they're practicing, of course, like every other sports film when the team gets together, at first they're not great. You
Yeah.
know, they're losers, all seems lost, all hope is lost. And
Hmm.
we see Caretaker uh, and Paul Crew. So you're like, yeah, I don't think we got a shot. And
Right.
then from the distance over the horizon,
Right.
like as the sun sets, we see
A big
Mister
movie star entrance. Yeah.
a big one, right?
Yeah. For Mr. Burt Reynolds, star of the original version of The Longest Yard. So
Right, and he plays Nate Scarsborough, who is
yes.
you know Heisman Trophy winner. He's played football his whole life, and now he's just stuck in prison, and he wants to coach.
Yeah. I guess he also got transferred to this prison because the warden called in favors. Because it seems like a lot to have like two former pro football players in the same prison.
It
uh,
really is, yeah.
yeah.
I don't know, but I mean, but you know, I guess you kind of suspend disbelief because, like, all right, well, it's Texas, they
Yeah.
love football in Texas, so maybe this could happen. So I was like, all right,
Yeah, yeah. And Burt Reynolds is like, "Hey, you got to get some new guys. You got to get some better guys because you got this
mm,
ragtag team of misfits, but you got to get some better players. You don't have many good players right now." So they break into this old records room in the prison to look up their records, and they recruit new players off of that.
right, and they know about the records room through the help of another inmate that Nate knows, named Skitchy, played by the great Edward Bunker, who was in Reservoir Dogs.
Right? Yeah. Edward Bunker. He was like the guy with the mustache who
Yeah,
gets
that
killed
guy.
really early in Reservoir Dogs, and this
Yeah.
apparently was his last film.
Oof.
So,
R.I.P. Yeah, yeah.
uh,
So, yeah, so then they break into the records room. They look online and they see that, again, there's more dialogue just that for exposition for the audience, where they're like, yeah, I heard that they rate prisoners here by stars, like depending on how violent they are. Like the more stars you have,
right.
the more violent you are. So, of course,
And
then
Chris
they,
Rock is as caretaker. He's outraged when he just has a half a star.
womp
He's like, "Well, I'm
womp.
gonna have to shank somebody to get more of a rep." So,
Right. And of course, they all make fun of him because he only has half a star. And it's like, haha, you're not violent. You weak.
yeah, pussy. Uh,
Absolutely. So
so
then so then they
yeah,
start going to the most violent of the convicts. This one guy
yeah,
Torres they approach, who is watching The View, which is one
yeah,
of
because
his favorite
he
shows.
really likes Joy Behar. Again, not a thing that ever comes back in the movie. It's just like this wacky characteristic that he has. One guy's the
Yeah,
burger guy. One guy's the not very smart guy. This guy, he's the Joy Behar guy because every football team needs a Joy Behar guy.
yeah, because men watching Joy Behar. That's funny. Men don't do that. Men don't do that. That's the ladies.
you,
The ladies
you,
do that.
you expect him to do something more macho.
Yeah, like monster
But no,
trucks.
he enjoys the daytime TV and the Joy Behar on The View in particular. Um,
That's not for men's. That's for the
yeah,
ladies, women's.
yeah,
Yeah. And then he also approached another dude. Shoot, what's his name? Turley, who is this giant dude,
yeah.
who's former wrestler Dalip Singh, who wrestled under the name the Great Kalia, I think. Wait,
Okay, yeah, that sounds familiar. I knew this guy. I knew this guy from like some other movie, but I couldn't like really place where I knew him from. So,
uh, let me do a little research while we talk here.
well,
Yeah, I mean, 'cause the dude is humongous. Oh, he was up. He was in, of course, one of the best comedies of ever, MacGruber.
oh,
he,
well,
he played Tug Phelps.
okay,
Wrestled under the name the Great Khali,
mm,
Khali. Movies. He was in Get Smart, the movie with
haven't seen it.
Carell.
Yeah,
Was that it? Or
no, I haven't seen it.
um, It seems to be it. It seems like the
Okay.
longest yard was his first movie.
Well, anyway, he looked familiar. Maybe I just saw him on some wrestling thing somewhere. But okay, all right.
Yeah, I mean the dude is like, my God, the dude is incredibly tall.
He's huge. He's huge. And we also end up recruiting Nelly as the running back because you need a rapper in the movie for some reason.
Yeah, I do like that. Where like when they were recruiting people, they had enough muscular guys, and then Chris Rock was like, "No, you need people with speed now. We need some
Yeah,
fast runners. We need some black people." And of course,
right.
they go to the basketball courts to recruit some blacks.
It's where you find the black people.
That's
'Cause-
where we congregate.
yeah.
Happy Black History Month, everybody.
Happy Black History Month. Um, yeah, because they don't have many black people on the team because prison, people. It's like many prisons divided among racial lines. There probably isn't a really nice racially integrated prison in the country now that I think of it. That I think that's not a thing that happens.
Probably not. Yeah.
Probably not. I've seen an episode or two of Oz. They seem to have their racial troubles there
I saw
in the
Orange is
prison
the New.
system.
Yeah, I saw Orange is the New Black. I know how it goes down.
Yeah, exactly. So
Uh,
so Sandler challenges one guy to this pickup game of basketball, and he's like, "If I win, then you join the team. If you win, then I leave you alone forever." I think that was what the deal was. Uh,
yes, Deacon. He challenges Deacon Moss, played by Michael Irvin,
mm, okay.
who's been in a few. He was in Jack and Jill with Sandler. He's done a few things here and there.
Yeah. So and they're fouling each other throughout the game, and Sandler's like taking a beating, and at this point in the movie, I'm just like, really, we're still recruiting people for the team. It seems like by this point we should be training. The movie takes forever recruiting and getting the team together.
It's a slow burn, John. We got to get these music cues in here.
But anyway, Nelly joins the team.
Right, because as we all know, if you to earn black people's respect, you got to play them in a game on one-on-one basketball.
That's
And if
how
you
I
could,
got you to agree to do this podcast.
that's right. We
Played
toughed it
you.
out.
Yeah, we played a
Like you,
game of horse, and
it's like you and me on the courts.
yeah,
We toughed it out, and you're like, you know what? You got heart, man.
yeah.
I'm in.
And then we realized that neither one of us is particularly athletic, and we were just
Yeah,
like, "This is stupid. Why don't we just talk about comedy?" And you
yeah,
were like, "Yes, that's our wheelhouse."
yes. I think like 20 minutes in, we were both exhausted and covered in sweat, and
Yes,
heavily breathing. I was clutching my
yeah,
chest, and then
yeah,
you were like, "Hey, do you just want to do the podcast?" I was
yeah,
like, "Yeah, okay."
yeah. Okay, give me an hour to recover,
Yes.
and then so like after. So then there's a scene where the prison guards like bully Nelly in the library,
Oh yes.
and they're like knocking. He's working in the library as you do in prison, and
Right,
they're
because
they're
I think
knocking over books and making him pick them up, and yeah.
right, because the guards they have a mole. They have a man on the inside. This dude
Oh, that's right.
Unger.
Yes, yes,
They have a
yes,
dude Unger who is like reporting back to the guards about everything that's happening. And of course he says, "Hey, they got themselves this really fast dude. Nelly, who plays Megat."
right.
And he's like, "Yeah, he could be
Who's
a
so
problem."
fast that he makes fast people look slow. That's like the description they give.
Right, exactly. And
So
also another thing we should have mentioned. And in the basketball court scene, you see, I don't know how much you know about hip hop, good sir, but you could see the group D12 in the background, who are like Eminem's friends, just hanging out.
uh, this will shock you to know I do not know a bunch about hip hop, and I did not recognize D12.
What? But you're so good at basketball.
Yeah, well, so okay, well
Uh,
they're in this movie. That's nice. Did they play any Eminem songs in the movie?
no, but there was a scene where one of them, when Sandler walked up to them, he says,
Oh
"Oh,
yeah,
look at this."
yeah, because Sandler's wearing like a knit cap. Yeah.
Yeah, and he says, "Yo, look at this fake Slim Shady looking motherfucker right here." That's
Yeah.
how I knew they were D12 because they had to mention Eminem's name, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's D12. I remember them. They came out with that one album."
Oh, okay. All right.
So
Well,
there.
good, good for D12.
So for all the hip hop and aficionados,
Yeah.
D12 is up in his mother.
If you want to see D12 stand in the background of a scene, this is the movie for you. Yes.
This is the film for you.
so so Nelly's like bullied by the guards in the library because he's like, I guess, the new ringer, the new star player. I don't know, but by this point I was just like, I don't particularly care about the stakes in this movie. I don't particularly care if the inmates win over the guards. I don't particularly care about the guards being taken down a peg. I'm not really rooting for anybody at this point.
Okay. I mean, I think they try to sort of establish that the guards are really, terrible and they abuse their power like early on in the movie. Like when they put there's a scene where they put Adam Sandler in the hot box for a
Yeah,
week, and
yeah.
the fact that they beat up Adam Sandler like immediately as he gets there to show that
Well,
they
that's not necessarily a deal breaker for me.
yeah. Wow.
Uh,
All right. But then I think they
I'll put
really
up with a certain amount of Adam Sandler beating up. I mean,
he try. Hey man, he puts his friends in movies. Like
he
lay off
does.
him.
I'm sure he's a lovely person in real life.
Yeah.
I find him a little off-putting in a lot of his movies.
Oh boy.
So
Adam Sandler, I'll join your basketball team. I'm always up for it. Or you
okay. Uh,
as you
and,
heard on this podcast, I'm very good.
yeah, and there are other wacky shenanigans like the warden, he floods their practice field 3 days before the game, so it's just like this big muddy mess. And the team is like, well, that's not going to stop us. We're going to just play and have fun anyway. So
Yeah.
we get like a montage of them playing and splashing in a lot of mud puddles.
While Clearwater Revival's "Have You Ever Seen the Rain" plays in the background. I was like,
Yeah,
all right.
even though it is not in fact raining in the scene.
But there's water, and
Yeah,
what is rain? Water.
yeah. And they've
Case
once seen rain.
case closed. But I mean, I think they also tried to paint the guards in a horrible light when you kind of skipped over this, where like Stone Cold Steve Austin straight up calls Nelly's character the N word, Joe Rogan hard R,
Mm.
and like really kind of paints how you know how abusive and horrible they can be. Like I think at that, and of course at that point,
At
a
that point, I
lot.
was like, yeah, I don't like these guards anymore.
Right, exactly.
I
What
was
did
with them up until that point,
what,
until they got to the hard R. Um,
not cool, man. And actually, and that instance, that's the moment that where all the black people rally around, and
that's right. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Yes, all the
Nelly,
black
and
players join up on the team.
yeah, and they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, let's take these guards down, brother.
So we've got a sufficient number of black people on the team now, and now I don't know how far we're into this movie. If at least 40 minutes feels like an hour.
I will admit the movie's a little long. They could have shaved off a few minutes here
Well,
and
it
there.
just seems unbalanced because it spends so much more time recruiting people for the team than the team like training and like coming together as a team. Because like early on, they're saying you got 4 weeks to train these people, and then like after they get everybody, we're like a week away from the game, and then the scene where they flood the practice field, that's like 3 days before the big game. So the movie has problems with time. It feels like.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I'll go with that.
Mm.
So as it gets closer to the game, it starts to build a lot of buzz throughout the town.
Mm.
ESPN2 wants to cover it because
Yeah, the football game, this pit practice game is getting national television exposure for some reason. I guess because Sandler's a former pro player, and that's caught
yeah,
people's interest.
and maybe and like the concept of inmates versus guards is
Yeah.
enough to get people's interest, and it's enough to be like a thing to be like people think, oh, that sounds kind of cool.
But it still
So
seems weird because even though Sandler is a former pro player, the movie has told us he is not a well liked former pro player because of the whole point shaping thing. Um, yeah, people hate him. So
right.
I don't see why. Well, I mean, yeah,
It,
maybe it's just like a car wreck factor,
yeah,
rubber
like
neck
you,
type of thing.
yeah, exactly. Like I mean, he draws enough controversy that you want to see, you want to go and we want to go and watch him just to like hate watch him. Maybe
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah. I think most people are supposed to be rooting for the guards because the general public, of course, doesn't know how horrible and abusive and racist the guards are. So
Right,
they're
exactly. I
rooting
mean,
against the inmates, but
you could
because
say
the
they're
movie's
like
about the inmates, the ragtag motley crew, we're rooting for them.
right because we know what's up.
Right. And we have
Hmm.
the wacky shenanigans. That's when they replace one of the guards' steroids with estrogen, and then we get the wacky running gag of him starting to get all emotional and making jokes about how he's growing breasts now and stuff.
Yeah,
So,
because you know, dudes acting big dudes acting like ladies. That's hilarious.
so they and then they find out at some point that they've got the guards have films of like their last season's game, so they're like, oh, we got to get our hands on the game films of the guards games from last season so we can like plan strategies against them. uh so
Right,
Sandler goes to the warden's secretary, who's played by Cloris Leachman,
late great.
the late great Cloris Leachman, who like early in the film, she's the person who's like, oh my god, Paul Crew, he's incredible, he's an Adonis, he's just his underwear ad, oh my god. And so yeah, she's got a thing for him because
Oof.
it's a movie produced by Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
So we have to act like he's a sex god. This weirds me out. It's the same way like with Chevy Chase and Spies Like Us, where it's like, is Chevy Chase this big hunky guy? This movie is telling me so. I
Yeah,
don't get it.
I think in his younger days he was seen as like a sex symbol, right? Like I mean, I could like it like younger Chevy Chase. I can sort of see it. Like he has like the strong chin, the little dimple. Like I can see like all right, maybe I can see them as this handsome Lothario.
The most I
Just
could say is like he's handsome-ish for a comedian, you know?
all right, I'll give you that.
Yeah. But not
Yeah,
classically handsome. And like when they're acting like they're classically handsome, that's when I have trouble getting on board, I guess.
yeah.
You
He's not like Paul. He's not like Paul Newman in his prime.
Exactly, exactly, and or even like Burt Reynolds in his prime. Like Burt Reynolds, handsome dude. I mean, you check out like Deliverance, you check out like The Longest Yard, you check him out back in the day, and yeah, he had
Yeah,
it going on.
yeah. I mean, like Warren Beatty in his day. Like, whoa,
Oh
that
yeah,
dude's
oh yeah. Well, Warren Beatty, that's a classically handsome dude.
yeah,
Uh, but
stunning.
by the way, I can't wrap my head around this is post Boogie Nights Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
This is Burt Reynolds has already had his career resurgence. Does Burt Reynolds need this movie? I don't know. Uh,
Yeah, it's weird. He kind of had like a burst of fame after Boogie Nights, and he came back
yeah,
into the spotlight. But then the movies after Boogie Nights were like, and I kind of hit and miss. They were like,
I know
all
Burt
right,
Reynolds. He like fired his management team like after Boogie Nights
oh,
because like he was not happy about the movie. I think he clashed with Paul Thomas Anderson when he was doing the movie, so he was not happy with the movie and not a fan of the movie, even though he got a career resurgence and an Oscar nomination out of it. And then like a few years later, he's playing Boss Hogg in the Dukes of Hazzard movie. It's just
oh my god.
it's so weird and sad, and it's just like, oh, Burt Reynolds, you could have started doing like prestige projects again, and then
You could have been a contender.
I know, it's just sad. I feel like he deserved better, you know.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe he's difficult to work with. I don't know what. I don't. Yeah, I see what you mean because, I guess it's the same way with maybe like John Travolta when he had that resurgence with Pulp Fiction,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
I think they do. Didn't they make a Pulp Fiction reference in this movie? I feel like they. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking about something else. But but yeah, like Travolta had this resurgence
yeah.
from Pulp Fiction, but then the movies that came out after Pulp Fiction were Battlefield Earth
Well,
and
I mean, it's
just
it's tough to match Pulp Fiction. I mean, and Travolta did do some good movies. Like, yeah, Shorty is a very good movie.
all right.
Uh,
Yeah, I'll give you that. You're right.
and and Travolta, he seemed to stay on the A list. I remember him doing a lot of stuff because I think Travolta was kind of terrified of just kind of going back to like Look Who's Talking or whatever. or
Yeah, I can see that.
even worse things he did. But yeah, it's interesting when it's like somebody who is an A-list actor and then they fall off for a while and then they come back, and it's interesting to see how they handle that and if they continue to get the good opportunities, you know.
Yeah, I'm looking at all these movies he made in the early aughts, and a lot of them I don't
Burt
even
Reynolds.
reckon. Yeah, Burt Reynolds. A lot of them I don't even recognize.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Delgo. Oof.
yeah.
Uh, all right. Well,
I don't know.
okay.
Anyway, I feel a little bad for Burt Reynolds, and but I feel like maybe he created some of his own problems too because I think he did have a bit of an ego, you know.
Yeah,
Uh,
I could see that.
I have a vague memory of like Burt Reynolds on the red carpet. I think of this movie and him giving like a reporter some sort of shit with a question about like the original or something like that. And
Oh, yeah, that sounds right.
yeah, and it's only a vague memory, and I didn't think to look it up before we started recording. But yeah, if I can find it, we'll post it from the SNL Nerds Twitter account at SNL Nerds Show.
Right.
But
So
yeah,
yeah, so follow us on our Twitter account, guys. You can see us. You might be able to see a video of Burt Reynolds being kind of a dick to somebody.
yeah. I mean, hopefully we can make that happen. So
Fingers crossed.
Sandler he sneaks in and he gets in good with Cloris Leachman to get his hands on these game films.
Right, because he the way he does that is by like seducing her and
Yeah.
posing for her like he did in that underwear ad. Because she really gets off that.
Right. Yeah. And we have the scene where they're about to watch all the team is about to watch the game films and they're like, "Oh, but before we get to that, here's security footage of Sandler with Cloris Leachman."
Like
And then yeah, and then after that they have security footage of Nicholas Turturro hooking up with Tracy Morgan, who
right. Mm,
and that's like the reveal that Nicholas Turturro's character is gay, or at least gay on
right.
the inside.
Yeah,
So
because like throughout the movie, Nicholas Turturro's character Brucey denies it. It's like, no, I don't hook up with the guys. I don't hook up with dudes. At one
yeah,
point, I think Tracy Morgan's character calls him back freckles, which I thought that was a pretty funny line.
uh,
And then yeah, then we have like photographic evidence that yes, Brucey does hook up with dudes. So it's
and
like
again, it's kind of creepy because like the entirety of the joke is just like, oh, ha, ha, he's gay, and it's
hilarious.
yeah. So
Yeah, some of this stuff didn't age well, guys.
no, no. I mean, it's we're only going back 17 years, which doesn't seem like that long, but in some ways, it is an eternity ago.
Oof.
So, what next? Should we do the caretaker thing?
Let's do the caretaker thing because this caught me really off guard, but just because I didn't see the original.
Yeah. Like caretaker, caretaker and crew have really bonded at this point. We see, like you mentioned before, caretaker smuggles in a bottle of Kettle One, and he shares a drink with crew, and he's like, "Oh, here's a picture of my mama," and
Hmm.
uh, and he's like, someday we'll have a drink on the outside together.
Yeah, and I believe that's a pic. That's actually a picture of Chris Rock's mom, right?
Yeah, I did read that. That's a real picture of Chris Rock with his real life mother. So that's nice. And and then a little after that, we see caretaker. He's leaving a present in Sandler's cell as like a pregame good luck thing. And then he goes over to the radio, and the radio explodes, and he dies instantly. And
Right.
yeah, this film
That's
takes a turn.
it. Does take a turn because I mean the reason I say it surprised me because in the original film that does happen to the caretaker. Spoiler, I guess that does happen to caretaker's character where Unger rigs the light bulb above the on that the light bulb that comes down from the jail cell to explode. And I
Oh
think
yeah,
he
because there was a close up of him like turning on the light, but the light doesn't. Okay, yeah, I didn't really get the light bulb was part of it, but yeah, you're right.
right. So the light bulb in in the first Longest Yard film is set up to rigged with explosives, and it ends up killing caretaker. So in this one, they give a little nod to that by caretaker Chris Rock, fidgeting with the light bulb because it goes out, but then nothing happens with the light bulb because the bomb is in the record player, the stereo, which happens to be in a jail cell. I guess no one came to get that. I guess and it ended up killing him, and it did surprise me that, like, oh my god, they killed Chris Rock's character. But like now that I think about it, it really shouldn't have surprised me because, like you said, the scene before this, it's Chris Rock showing uh, Sandler's character Paul a picture of his mom, saying,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go see my mama once I get out of here."
In retrospect, he might as well have said, like, I'm just 3 days away from retirement.
Yes,
And it's my
absolutely,
birthday tomorrow. And yeah. Uh,
exactly. It's
I felt like they hadn't quite built up Chris Rock's character enough for him to be important enough to kill, though. I didn't quite have the affection for Caretaker that I felt like the movie thought I had, I
yeah,
I feel like they
it's
should have done more to, like, get us more in Caretaker's corner and have more affection for him, outside of our already existing affection for Chris Rock, you know?
Yeah, it seems. Yeah, it feels like they spent a lot of time introducing all these football players, all these inmates to join the team, and spent a
Right.
lot of time on music cues and a
Yeah.
lot of time showing like how they get this ragtag band of friends together. And
R
like, yeah, I don't know if they spent enough time sort of really developing, maybe Paul's character or Caretaker's character
Yeah, I
enough.
wish they'd spent some of that time just getting us behind Caretaker as a character and see more of the developing friendship, because then we could have really felt it when Caretaker died. And other than that, I was just like, oh crap, they killed off Chris Rock. Now no more Chris
Yeah,
Rock in the movie, because I don't think it doesn't seem like the type of movie where Chris Rock's going to show up as a ghost or
yeah.
something.
This isn't Ghost Dad,
Yeah,
John. No.
yeah. This
But
is
yeah,
it's not exactly like a Brian Song level friendship.
exactly. Like I think the time that they used for slow motion scenes while Spirit in the Sky was playing, they could have used that time to maybe develop your characters a little bit more so you cared about them when they die.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen Spirit in the Sky in a lot of other movies. I mean, it's been
It's
in
in the
Guardians
yeah.
of the Galaxy. So
It's like the one of those go-to songs you just always hear in a movie.
yeah.
It's like when you hear a movie about Vietnam, you're gonna hear, "Hush, children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's
Look
going."
what's going. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I
just
mean, how else are we going to know we're in the 60s unless they play For What
yeah,
It's Worth by Buffalo
yeah.
Springfield? I
It's
mean,
either that or All on the Watchtower. Those are the only two songs that say '60s.
and those are the only ways we can tell that something is taking place in the 1960s, because those were the only two songs we had.
I know. It was a simpler time.
It was a simpler time, and Beatles music is fucking expensive. So
It really is.
it really is. Um,
You try to play Octopus's Garden on this budget.
so yeah, so we're pretty much set for the big game at this point. And everybody's suiting up, and then, like, right before the game, Sandler comes in with a big package, and he's like, well, Caretaker promised he was going to get us equipment. He got us equipment. He came through, and they've got, like, professional looking uniforms that say Mean Machine.
Yeah,
Mhm.
these
That's their team name. um
yeah.
so
I think
yeah.
that was also another nod to the original movie because the original movie, the team was called the Mean Machine.
Yeah. No idea why. Maybe the original movie tells us. I don't know. I guess because
Yeah,
they're
yeah. The name of the team. Yeah, I thought like, why did they name it? Like they never reference or
it's out
said.
of nowhere, right? I mean, it's
Yeah,
just
like I went back in my head. Like, did they ever say Mean Machine throughout this entire movie? I don't think they did.
nope, nope, nope. I mean, and even the shot where they show the name on the uniform, it's kind of tough to read because they don't really get close enough, and it's in a weird typeface. So I was like, I think that says machine, but I couldn't quite make out the first word. Anyway, it's,
Okay.
um, yeah,
Yeah. So then they have their uniforms and they're all like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this for caretaker. All right, here we go. Hey, oh,
yeah.
eh. And this game is a big deal. Like everybody from town came out to see it. They have
Stadium
guards.
filled with people. Yeah.
Yes, they have guards at the top of each corner of the stadium, sharpshooters, dudes with rifles.
Yeah, yeah. In
Um,
case anybody tries something, we've got a professional sportscaster, Chris Berman, calling the game with an inmate for some reason, just for shits and giggles, I guess.
yeah, he's just there. I didn't see like he's not in handcuffs, or I didn't see any of the guards outside right by him. They're just like, yeah, here, announcer, talk with this prison inmate
Yeah,
and
and it's
announce the
just,
game.
and the joke is that it's not a very verbal inmate, so it's Chris Berman trying to draw this guy out, and the guy is just sort of glaring and glowering. So,
Right. And of
yeah,
Yes, and of course they have Tracy Morgan and the rest of his crew as cheerleaders. 'Cause-
yeah.
I love that response.
I mean, I like Tracy Morgan, but I'm basically cringing every time he shows up in this movie.
Yeah.
Um, I mean,
Hey.
the thing is, for me, this movie, it wasn't particularly funny, and the game wasn't too interesting. So for me, there wasn't much there. A lot of this movie just didn't really hold my interest, you know.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear
And
you.
I think a good example is like at one point in the game, um, I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but Sandler's like sitting on the bench during the game, and like Nelly comes up to him when he's on the bench, and I was like, "Oh my god, I literally forgot Nelly was in this movie because he hasn't done anything except since he like got harassed in the library. That's
Yeah,
like the last time we saw Nelly."
yeah, you're like, Nelly, what are you doing in this movie?
And I was like, "Oh right, yeah, Nelly and Burt Reynolds. That's what it says on
Right.
the DVD." So
Yeah, so then we have the big game. We also mentioned probably should mention that there was also a few other football players in this movie, like Brian Bosworth, I believe he plays
yeah,
one of the guards, and yeah, somebody else. I
Romanowski.
Yes,
Uh,
Romanowski.
yeah,
Yes, he's up in this, and yeah. So I think
Michael
and
Irvin was in it. You mentioned him, I think. Yeah.
Michael Irvin. Yeah, there's a ton of like actual athletes, wrestlers and football players alike are in this thing.
Yep.
hmm And yeah, I mean, not too many funny people, but a lot of wrestlers.
A lot of wrestlers and the funny people are in it. They're not especially funny in this movie. They've been funnier elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, we do have Rob Schneider popping up for his, contractually obligated "You Can Do It" moment.
Yeah, how many Sandler movies has he done that in? I know that's been a thing since like The Waterboy. Um,
Yeah,
so that was like 7 years before this movie. So and it was he would show up at like the climactic movie of practically every Adam Sandler movie. Just go, you can do it. Is that still a thing that he does, or is
I
it not that running gag? I don't even know.
I certainly hope he doesn't do it anymore, because I think at this point, the gag's worn thin. We're like, because like when I
I
saw it in
feel like
this,
at this point it's like the joke would have died, but it might have come back around again by now.
where it's just so tired, it's good again.
Yeah, yeah, because like that's the arc. It's like it's funny, and then you repeat it so much it becomes unfunny, but then you repeat it even more, and then it becomes funny again. Maybe it could have been like that. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm looking at his filmography. All right, so yeah, he
I
did it in
never found
Waterboy.
I never found this gag particularly funny to begin with, so I'm not the audience for it. But
He
yeah,
says you can do it. Get it? He said
I guess. I mean, I get
you
how that's supposed to be a joke, sort of, maybe.
you could do it. He says it. The words. He says you could
And
do
it's a
it.
kind of funny voice.
Yeah, it's a funny voice saying you could do it. The joke writes itself.
Anyway,
Okay.
okay,
Yeah, I
we're
mean,
almost through this thing. Let's just power through.
yes, let's do that. Um,
So the warden, he comes to crew and he says, "This is like a halftime of the game. The score's all tied up. It's like 14-14. Um, so the inmates are doing well. Everybody expects the inmates to lose, of course. But the warden comes to crew and he says, "You've been named as an accomplice in the murder of caretaker." Um, and things are going to be very unpleasant for you unless you throw this game. And
right.
so Crew fakes an injury. He starts like sitting on the bench at the sidelines. He's like, oh my, I can't play with this knee. My knee's bad. And Eddie Bunker's looking at the knee and he's like, yeah, it's fine. And um yeah, so and then
Yeah,
and all the players know what Crew is doing, and they're just like, oh, you son of a bitch, you fuck you.
right.
So
Because like I
they're
think
not
throughout the
happy.
movie, yeah, 'cause I think throughout the movie that he's never said if he, if he did what he was accused of, because he was accused of racketeering and shaving off points,
Right.
but he's always maintained his innocence.
Yeah.
Uh, but
Something to prove, I would imagine. I
yeah,
mean, how do you prove somebody's intentionally throwing a game? Uh,
yeah, that's true. But like a lot of everybody, including the inmates, think he did it. But throughout this movie, they've come to like him and really respect him. But
yeah.
now they're seeing what he's doing now. Throwing this game, they're like, all right, fuck this dude.
Fuck this
And
dude. So yeah.
yeah,
So
and
this is our last big crisis
right,
in
this
the
is
game.
this is it. Getting
Um,
sweaty.
and so the guards are getting ahead. They're ahead by like 2, then 3 touchdowns, and then what changes Crew's mind? I don't even remember at this point.
Well, I mean,
I
it's like,
watched this like 2-3 hours ago, and I'm drawing a total blank now.
well, it's like you said, like all his fellow teammates giving him the stink eye, saying, "Oh, after all caretaker did for you, this is how you do him." No, you wrong,
Right.
fam. And of course,
Yeah.
Nelly, who makes a cameo in this film.
Yeah. Nelly comes back, reminds me that he's in the movie. He comes up and he says, "Hi, I'm Nelly. I was in this movie at one point. Remember
Right.
that? I was in the library."
Remember me? I did the "Hot in Here" song.
Yeah.
It's hot in here.
Is there anything that places this movie in 2005 more than the fact that Nelly is in it?
Yeah, I mean, good gracious, ass is bodacious.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically, he quits the game. He disappoints his team. Um, and then he's really like conflicted because he really doesn't want to let his team
Right.
down. So then he basically he talks to Stitchy,
Right.
the
He
great
he
Eddie.
comes up to Eddie Bunker and he's like, "Hey, when you slugged the guard who later became the warden and then therefore like got a life sentence and the rest of your life is over. Was it worth it?" And Stitchy's like, "Yeah, it was worth it. Every fucking second."
Yeah, and that's enough for him to be like, all right, yeah, fuck it,
So that
do
was
it.
what turned him around.
Yes.
Okay, I was thinking there was something that before that turned him around other
No,
than
that
okay.
was it. That was it.
All right. So he goes back into the game. So it was like this 15-minute retirement in the second half. And so he comes back to the game. By this point, the Mean Machine are down by 3 touchdowns.
Right. Yeah,
And
and then he so he gets back into the game. He taps in, but of course, at this point, nobody will like defend him
right,
during the game, so they just let the other team, the guards, tackle him and
he's
smack him
getting
to the ground.
tackled up the wazoo. Yeah, and
Yeah,
Sandler knows what's going on. He's like, okay, well, if I got to do it, I'll do it by myself. I'll do it on my own. And there's a play where he's running the ball in himself, and he loses his helmet, and
yeah.
somehow the play continues. I mean, I didn't get that. I mean, I'm not a
I
football game, so I was just like, but I was like, how is that legal? How is that okay? They
yeah
wear
don't
those helmets for a reason.
yeah like don't they stop the whole game and be like, hey, put your helmet back on, or I
I
don't
would
know.
think, but I don't know.
Maybe it's because they're just inmates. We don't care about their brains and their lives.
But it's a nationally televised game, so you would think
Yeah,
they would, at least for appearances' sake.
yeah, maybe. I don't
Anyway,
know.
so that I think that he shows some hustle that kind of gets the people back on his side a bit. He admits that he threw the game back in the day.
Yeah, he owed some money to some very dangerous people.
Right, because I guess it was like a Pete Rose type of thing. He got into a gambling situation.
Right. They don't
Uh,
go too into it, but like
they
but
really don't. It's very vague. It's so vague. It's
like I
like
did a thing.
yeah, that's pretty much what his confession is. he did a thing, and that's when Rob Schneider pops up and goes, "You can do it."
Right. So then he said, "Yeah, I regret it, and I don't want to do it again twice in this lifetime. So yeah, let's go. Let's go get
Right.
these guys."
And
Ba-ba-da-da.
Burt Reynolds comes in and plays at one point.
Right, because I think Nelly, who surprise cameo by Nelly, he
Yes.
he does a play and he like injures himself. He like gets
Right.
his legs injured or something.
Yeah. And how old is Burt Reynolds at this point? I'm guessing like 70.
He's up there. He's an older fellow.
Let's see. He passed away. Yeah, he would have been around. He would have been around 70 because he passed away in 2018 at the age of 82. So yeah, he was pushing 70 at this point.
Okay, yeah, and he just was like, "All right, I'll go in." I'm like,
I'll
"Dude,
go.
you're. I
I'm
mean, you
like,
look
this
great, but
that's a bad idea. I mean, yeah,
yeah, you're.
you're looking good. It's a decent facelift. The hair plugs are looking all right.
God
You still
damn.
got the Reynolds mustache going. Well, I mean, come on. Are we going to pretend he didn't have a facelift and hair plugs?
No, both Burt Reynolds and Adam Sandler are handsome, beefy men.
Okay, okay. I mean,
There's
I'm just saying. Are we pretending that he actually aged like that?
yeah, you got to suspend disbelief, my friend. Got to suspend it.
Okay. Um, so yeah, he comes in and he plays. I felt like this was something just put in to like appease Burt Reynolds. You know, he
Like
was like, "Okay, I'll be in the remake, but I gotta be in the game."
that's right. And afterwards, a bunch of broads come and take me off the field, right?
I have a three way, and they mention my big massive erections.
Wow. Okay, Bert. I'll take your notes. I'll give these back to our writing team, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, my God, Burt Reynolds did a ton of movies in the 2000s. Look at this. Uh,
He did a ton of them. I don't know any of them.
it's yeah. I saw him guest star on My Name Is Earl. I remember that.
Yeah.
There was a movie called Not Another Movie.
Oh dear God. What?
Yeah, what the? Oh my God! Did Burt Reynolds owe money to the mob or something? What the hell is going on with his IMDb listing?
I don't know.
This is not right. It's
This is like the equivalent of Paul Crews shaving points off the
yeah,
game because he owes.
100%. Oh my God!
The
What the
Burt
hell
Reynolds.
happened? Okay,
The,
Mystery Alaska. I've heard of that movie. I've heard of
I,
that movie. That was in 1999.
that's a legit movie. Yes.
That was a legit movie. Um, After that, this and the Dukes of Hazzard movie might be the last movies of his that I've heard of.
Everything else is just like a Ponzi scheme or something.
I don't know. I
some type
don't.
of some type of front for the mob.
He did an episode of King of Queens the same year as this movie, 2005. Oh my God, what happened? What happened? Oh,
Uh,
Bird. Oh, I want to give
uh,
you a hug from beyond the grave.
where, where have you gone, Joe DiMaggio?
A nation turns its lonely eyes to you.
Hey, hey, hey. Oh, another 60s song. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing that Simon and Garfunkel. That
Mm-hmm.
marks that we're in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, yeah, Burt Reynolds does a play.
Right.
And then after at the very end, the captain, William Fincher, the head guard, he comes up and he has this really weird turnaround. He's like, "Hey, Paul Crews, I know you had nothing to do with Caretaker's murder, and I will go to bat for you." And there has
Right.
been absolutely nothing in this movie that leads us to believe that this guy has ever had another side. All we've seen of this guy up until this point is just like evil prison guard. I mean,
Yeah, that was a weird turn. I mean, because like you said, like, because I
Clancy
mean,
Brown in the Shawshank Redemption would be like, "Hey, take it back a notch or three."
yeah,
But
because I mean, basically, like, I mean, I don't even think we mentioned it, but yeah, the convicts ends up winning the game.
yeah,
Paul Crew scores the winning touchdown through a
yeah,
trick play,
yeah,
and yes, like you said, William Fincher's character Nauer. says, "Hey, man, I know you didn't have anything to do with it. I'll go to bat for you." And I was like, "Where did that come from? You were a
And
total."
also, how do you know this? You were not there. You have, I mean, how do you have this knowledge? I don't. Is it just because he's seen that Adam Sandler's a good guy at heart? I just didn't get where this plot twist came from at all.
I think this is where it came from. I think is from the fact that they did show a scene where the warden was telling the captain now, or William Fincher's character, that
Yeah.
hey, it's okay, the fix is in. I told Paul, Paul's going to play ball. So once you guys get a comfortable 2 touchdown, 3 touchdown lead, then you can like demolish him and really get him. And then the captain was like, "No, you don't have to do that. Our team, we can do this. We can, we can win on our own." And of
Right.
course, the warden was like, "No, don't do. You don't get to a man in my position by not making sure of things are absolutely in the bag. So don't trust me. The fix is in. You're fine." And I think
So
that
that was like an oblique confession, I guess.
yeah, and I think maybe that bothered the captain. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he has like like a change of heart then, where it's like, hey, this warden's not a good
I
guy, or
He's not a
I
good
don't know.
guy. He seems so fine and upstanding up until now. I mean, he had that talking pig that he talked to.
That
Um,
was some pig.
but no, it turns out he's like evil, like he was in L.A. Confidential. So
Yeah, and I think also the fact that Paul Crew was like constantly getting beat down, especially and by his own team.
right,
Maybe he sort of gained some respect from him there. But it is weird that like he in the beginning he's this cartoonishly evil
it's
person.
just yeah, it's just out of nowhere because like there's nothing to lead us believe that this guy has another side to him, and then he's
Yeah.
just what, you're going to go to bat for him against the evil warden? Really? Okay. I think by this point I was just so disengaged with the movie. I wasn't the warden thing went over my head. But
Wow.
yeah, what you say makes sense.
All right, so there's that. So yeah, so they win the game,
Mm,
and then there's also a scene where like the warden and the captain Fincher are talking, and
yeah,
they both look at Paul Crew, and he's like making his way towards the exit of the stadium.
yeah.
And I think the warden's like, "Where's he going? Is he trying
He's
to
making a
escape?"
break for it. Yeah, and he's like,
Yeah,
"You have to shoot him. You have to shoot him now on national television in front of all these thousands of people." I just
in the back.
in the back. That'll go well. That's a good
Yeah.
idea. Yeah.
And then, of course, Fincher's characters are now where he's very hesitant. He's like, I can't. In front of all these people, you want me to shoot a man in the back? And he's like, yes, that's an order. Shoot him in the back.
He
And
turns into a bulldog for some reason. I thought
yeah,
that was a choice.
it was a
Um,
choice.
it was a choice.
Yeah. And so, of course, he hesitates. William Fincher has this trigger on the rifle. He ends up not shooting him. And it turns out he just went to get the game ball. And he comes back and he gives it to the warden,
Yeah, and he's like,
which
"You
is
can
like,
put
oh,
this in your case."
it was like, oh,
Yeah.
we almost saw an execution in this movie. All right.
Yeah, yeah. That would have been a weird ending for the movie. Just Adam Sandler getting
Yeah.
shot in the back and just Adam Sandler dead, and then credits roll,
Yeah. Very 70s. Very 70s.
and then just like wah, wah, wah. Just wistful music. That's how this movie would have ended in the '70s. Not that I've
Yeah.
seen the '70s version, but I don't know if Burt Reynolds dies in the '70s. I'm gonna guess no.
I don't think he does, but I'll look that up.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, and then that's the end of the movie. It ends with Paul and Nate, Burt Reynolds' character, walking off into hitting the showers, and the inmates dumping Gatorade on the warden,
yeah.
and
Which again, you
then
think there's got to be some. He says like a week in the hot box for the two of you.
yeah, and
Uh,
they were like, "I don't give a shit," and then we
yeah,
get a Nelly song
right.
credits.
Weird ending, man.
It was a little weird.
Weird. I didn't like this movie. I didn't think it was very good.
I mean, I thought it
And
was all
I
right.
realized, hey, I'm not the target audience for this because I'm not particularly an Adam Sandler fan. I'm not a football fan, so not a lot there for me. But I can enjoy the odd sports movie. I mean, I love Rudy. I'm not made of wood. I mean, a good sports movie when it's really well done, it can really get your blood pumping, get you standing up and cheering. And this movie didn't work for me, and I didn't think it was particularly funny either.
I think it had its for me, it had its moments.
Yeah,
I still think Chris Rock had some funny lines. Like,
yeah,
when he saw Nelly running, see how fast he was. He was like, "Oh, that boy's got slave feet." I was like, "Oh,
yeah.
Jesus, I thought that was pretty funny." Um, but yeah, overall, I thought, I thought, I mean, this movie's almost 2 hours. I was like, this didn't need to be 2 hours. This could have
It feels longer than 2 hours,
you could
honestly. Yeah,
you could have shaved off some time, but I
yeah.
thought it was enjoyable enough. I'll say that. Like maybe
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it more than I did.
wow, enjoyable, not enough.
Yeah, that's kind of where it fell for me.
Wow. And so I'm looking at the ending of the original movie, and it ends pretty much exactly the same way this movie ended. It ended with Crew almost getting shot in the back
Hmm.
by Nauer, but he doesn't. Nauer doesn't shoot him because of his newfound respect for Crew.
Where
Because he was
was the game nationally televised in the original movie?
it's a good
I'm curious
question.
about that. I mean, because ESPN wasn't a thing in 1974, so
I don't see anything about it.
I don't
But
know.
so maybe they just did that. They just added
Yeah,
the ESPN2 angle to,
yeah.
be all
To up the
fancy
stakes.
pants.
I'm vaguely curious about the original because I'm thinking it has to be a better movie than this one. But yeah. So
But yeah, that's our review, guys. The Longest Yard. Um,
this
not
yard.
it's. I thought it was so-so. John thought it sucked shit.
Yeah. This some a little bit of interesting trivia on this movie. Ed Lauder, who played the prison guard, the sadistic prison guard in the original movie, he has a cameo appearance in this movie. He apparently was just visiting the set, and then he met with Adam Sandler, and Adam Sandler was like, "Let's get you a part in here," and so they did that. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I think that's cool. As we said before, is Edward Bunker's last film. Gary Oldman was in talks to play the prison warden, but negotiations fell through.
Ooh.
Um, I would have loved it if he just played the prison warden the same way he played the pimp Drexel in True Romance. That would have been fun.
Oh. See, I was thinking about his character in The Professional.
Yeah,
Everyone.
either one of those would have worked for me. That would have added some more hilarity for me.
Yes.
Let's see what else. There was something else that I spotted that I wanted to say, and now I've Snoop Dogg was attached to the film but dropped out.
I could see that.
I'm gonna assume it was the Nelly part because I just can't imagine what other part Snoop Dogg might have played. Snoop Dogg, again, whisper thin lad. I can't
Oof.
imagine him playing football. He is a
He's like a
skinny man.
he's like a scarecrow.
Yeah, I guess all the weed keeps your weight down or something.
That's right. I know. Oof. He's slender.
It's kind of funny that Courtney Cox just pops up at the beginning of the movie and then is not heard from again at all. We don't
Yeah,
even
that
see her like, watching the game at the end.
yeah, that was weird. Like she's literally there. I guess it was like a day of shooting. Just
Yeah,
right after right after the opening, we just never hear. She's never mentioned again. We never see her again. It's just like
yeah.
in and out.
I mean, understandably, I mean they're not really a thing anymore. But it might have been funny to see her just watching the game and reacting to it or something.
Yeah,
But
exactly. But
yeah, I guess Courtney Cox is just doing Adam Sandler a favor, or she had a weekend free from.
I guess so. But yeah, I mean, because aside from her, this whole movie is a pretty much a sausage party. Just wall to wall
Well, yeah, we're in
dudes.
prison. Oh yeah, here it is. Here was the thing I was. It says while many of the inmates are seen with long hair and or facial hair, in reality, the Texas Department of Criminal Justice requires inmates to be clean shaven and their hair
Mm,
trimmed from the back of the hair and necks, essentially ensuring everyone is bald and beardless.
yes.
Smoking has also been strictly forbidden in Texas prisons since 1994. So that's why this movie didn't work for me. It's based on a lie.
Right. There was that one scene where Torres was on the field and like getting ready to play, and he had a cigarette dangling out of his mouth, and I'm like, that's That's
That
not.
that seems unrealistic.
It looks badass, but that's not real.
This is the second highest grossing sports comedy of all time, with
Whoa.
another Adam Sandler vehicle, The Waterboy, taking the top spot.
Oh shit! I didn't know.
Sports comedy. That's the qualifier.
Oh.
So
Okay. That's how you do it.
yeah, yeah.
All
Oh, by the
right.
way,
Well.
it's only 5 of the 6 members of D12 who made cameo appearances.
What?
Well, the missing 6 member was Eminem.
Oh, right. Of course. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So
So it wasn't fully D12. It was D11.
yeah,
Got
I
it.
guess so. I guess so. Or maybe since it's 6 members, they count for 2, so it'd be like D10. I'm not quite sure how the math would work out, but
Right. I'll bust
well,
out my
okay.
calc.
Whoa, it says here Burt Reynolds was supposed to have a stunt double for when he got hit by Brian Bosworth on a touchdown run, but Reynolds insisted on doing it himself, saying, "I got one run left in me." Bosworth himself was honored by the whole situation, saying, "Who else can say they got run over by Burt Reynolds?" Reynolds went through the hit in one take with no injuries, though he had to be helped off the field. The shots used in the movie of him being helped off the field were not staged. Wow, that is interesting.
Jeez, he's dude in his 70s doing that.
Well, he was
That's
pushing
not
70. He was, yeah.
all right. But
I mean,
still,
kudos to Burt Reynolds. I mean, yeah, that
I,
may have been an ego thing, but god damn,
yeah, I can't do that shit now.
no.
I'm,
And
I'm a
he
semi-healthy man. I
and he
can't.
made it through without like breaking a hip. Well, okay, all right.
Wow.
Burt Reynolds, I take back the mean things I said about you.
Yeah. See, there you go. All right.
That's pretty fucking manly.
Yeah. But Reynolds, we salute you.
We salute you, Burt Reynolds. R.I.P. We're sorry you had to do so much crap in the last decade of your life.
Wow, Burt Reynolds is really getting the business on this episode.
Yeah. So The Longest Yard. I mean, it might be a movie to see if you like Adam Sandler and or football. If you don't, you can give it a miss.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was all right, but it wasn't. It wasn't enough for me to say, "Oh, you got to watch this." Like I could have taken it or leave it or left it.
Yeah,
But
nothing to write home about for me.
yes, absolutely.
Uh, so
Yeah, and that's our episode, guys. Thanks again so much for listening, as always.
mm-hmm.
As always, you can follow us on Twitter at SNL Nerds Show. And,
Yes.
you tweet at us. Let us know what's up. What's on your mind? What's on your heart? What's on your
Mm,
any other part of your body? Well, no, don't do
yes.
that. That's gross. And
No, yeah,
yeah,
don't let us know. Yeah, we
yeah,
hope that the parts of your body are doing well, but we don't need to know about it.
yeah. We don't. We're not your doctor.
I mean,
And
unless you just like survived getting tackled by Brian Bosworth, then that's interesting. But
then let us
yeah,
know that we want
let us
pictures.
know under those circumstances. But yeah, you can follow us on the Twitter at SNL Nerds Show, and you can also follow our individual Twitter accounts. Mine happens to be at Trumbull Comic. That's TRUMBULL and the word comic.
And mine happens to be at Darren Credible. That's DARIN Credible. Twitter and Instagram.
So yeah, give us a follow on theirs, and yeah, we always enjoy the followers. We like the followers and the stuff. You know what we also like? We also like the podcast getting rated and reviewed. So if you do that and you say something cool, we'll read that on the podcast.
Yeah, and you know what else we like? We like money, cold hard cash. So why don't you
Mm.
donate some shekels to our Patreon at non-productive.com.
Yep, and hey, and it just so happens I've got another thing to plug. There's a book anthology that I'm in called "These
Ooh.
Fans Are Buried Tales," and there's actually a Kickstarter project that's started up for that. That's like raising the money. Basically, like the payment for the authors is coming out of that. They tell the whole story. Yeah, it's a anthology about a bunch of people snowed in at a science fiction convention, and people start telling stories to each other, like the Canterbury Tales. And so it's each story is like representing a different fandom, and it's pretty cool. So I've got a story in there called "The Prose Tale / Two Mystery Men Walk into a Bar," and that Kickstarter is happening until March 1st. So yeah, check that out. Do a search on Kickstarter for "Fans Are Buried," and you'll find that.
Oh, right on. That sounds
Mhm.
great. So yeah, guys, please check that out. Please, please,
Yeah.
please.
Support my writing efforts, people.
Yeah, support. We need your support. We need support from people like you.
Yes. And next week, we're going to do something else. We're not entirely decided on it yet.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out what to do, what not to do, because, we got a free week before the SNL kicks back in again. Maybe we'll put out a poll. Maybe we'll do that. I don't know.
Yeah, well, maybe we should do a poll with some of the top candidates. We haven't done that in a little while. We might need a little help deciding. So that's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Or we have some ideas cooking in the back some movies that people have pitched us throughout the years. So maybe we'll do one of those. We don't know yet. It'll be a nice surprise we spring on you good people.
It's a mystery. Yeah, it's a mystery. We don't know ourselves. We're going to be just as surprised as you are.
Right.
So, all right. Well, I think that's about everything, right? We covered it all.
I think we did all right. I think it's time to land this plane.
Okay. All right. So, we'll see you. We'll see you next week when you tune in to the podcast. And until then, nerd out!
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.